Alright, hi again. So I know I just made another video, but I said I was going to make another one about more recent issues I've been facing. So I'm going to do that. So basically, sorry, my hair is still bugging me. The summer's been a little bit of a struggle. Just, like I said, being home for me is kind of hard because of having to be around my mother and also just being in an environment that I'm so used to restricting in, which is the main symptom of my eating disorder, or is restricting. I did struggle with purging when it first started, but I haven't struggled with that for a long time. So I guess I'm technically diagnosed as having anorexia. Anyways, so basically I just, sorry, computer. I just switched doctors because my insurance changed and they wouldn't cover the doctor I was seeing for like 3 years, which really sucked. So I ended up going back to this other doctor who I saw when I was 14, I believe. And she's really hardcore, which is kind of the reason I left. She wanted me to gain all this weight and I didn't want to, and there was a whole big debate and I ended up just switching doctors. But I went back to her, and I had a really long appointment. Their first appointments are like 90 minutes. I guess she did some like regular physical checkup stuff. So I had that done, and I had blood work and everything. I was orthostatic, which, if you've been in treatment for an eating disorder, you probably know what that means. It basically is like when you have an eating disorder, they like to take your orthostatic pulse and blood pressure, which means they do it lying down and then standing up, and it's to see if there's a big change. It means that your body is working, or your heart essentially is working harder than it should be to adjust to the change in position. So the standards are like if your blood pressure drops 10 or more points, or if your pulse jumps 20 points or more. And I was orthostatic by blood pressure. It dropped about 12 points, which surprised me because I can't remember the last time I was when I had a doctor's appointment until then. And this doctor, I still remember this from when I saw her last time. She makes you drink Ensure if you're like unstable, but she didn't, because I was already drinking like this smoothie thing, like one of those Oddwallas, except it was some other brand other than that. So she was like, we'll just finish that and we'll retake them. And she did, and then they were okay. Like, my blood pressure still dropped a little, but not that much. So she's like, you just needed more calories. So that happened. My appetite just generally hasn't been that great, which is part of the reason I'm struggling, because it's a lot harder to eat when your body is like, oh no, I'm fine, I don't need food. Even though I know I do, I'm like, I want to eat. I do. It's just really hard when I feel like my body's telling me something different and food just doesn't sound that appealing to me, and it doesn't taste that great. And I was thinking like there might be something physically wrong, but most of my blood work looks pretty good. The only things I will say, I can tell you, well, I'm really vitamin D deficient, which is no surprise because I live in the Northwest, and I go to school in Washington, where it's very dark and dreary a lot. And let's see, I'm looking at my lab stuff. Oh, my vitamin D was 17, which is really bad. The normal range is between 30 and 100. So she's having me take a 50,000 IU supplement, which you only take it once a week, thankfully, because that's a huge number. But it's probably easier, and I don't have to take it every day, because I really don't like taking any medicine, even though I do it. And then the other thing that was abnormal was my ferritin. And ferritin's storage iron, or somehow related. And I really have no idea what that means, but she wrote me an email with like a summary of everything that was wrong with me. And she said a level of at least 35 to 50 is thought to help with fatigue, dizziness, and sleep issues. And I recommend you take a supplement. And my level was 8. And it's like one of those things, if you know anything about labs, some of them have like really weird ranges, and that's true for ferritin. Like, the range for ferritin is 10 to 291, and mine was 8. So that's pretty low. But that range is also kind of crazy. But I really don't know that much about what ferritin is, so I might have to look that up. Other than that, the only thing I thought also looked a little strange was my blood sugar, because like it was right after she made me drink that smoothie, or like, I mean, I was drinking it anyways, but after I finished it, and it was 82, which seems a little low for like right after eating, but she didn't say anything about it. It is considered like within normal range, so I'm not really sure if that means anything. But that's basically the only issues with my labs, so it's pretty good. I have to take a couple supplements for the things that aren't, but nothing too serious. So, other than that, I mean, I'm supposed to gain weight, or like it's recommended that I do. Which I was like, yeah, I know. I've lost a little bit recently, and like I'm sort of okay with regaining that, because I was okay with where I was, and I know my body's probably like not functioning as well as it was when I was a little bit heavier. So I was like, yeah, I feel okay about like getting back to that point, but up to the point where like my dietitian and other people want me to be is a little bit nerve-wracking, because I haven't been there in quite a while. And that's that would be like 5 to 10 pounds more than I'm at right now. And basically, I don't know, I feel like I've been on weight gain forever. I mean, strangely, I actually grew though, like in this past year, because I was like 5'5" 3/4, and then I just got measured when I went to this doctor, and I was 5'6" 1/8. So, I mean, I guess weighing a little more makes more sense if I'm taller, but it still makes me nervous, and I definitely don't want to gain like 10 pounds. That just seems like too much. But yeah, it's really frustrating to go through all of this treatment and feel like, oh, I'm at an okay place with my body and mentally, and then to be told like, oh, you still need to gain this much more weight, or we recommend that you gain weight. So, I don't know, we'll see what happens with that. It's just kind of an ongoing battle. Like, I'm definitely stubborn about my weight, and I mean, I'm so much better about it than I used to be, because it used to be if I like gained half a pound, I would flip out and then like exercise a bunch, because it really freaked me out. But that's not true anymore. Like, I can handle that. Like, I know that's like a normal fluctuation. Even like a couple of pounds is a normal fluctuation. So it's just something that I'm gonna have to deal with on an ongoing basis. I'm trying to eat more. Like, I did a better job today, and I sort of ate like what I told my dietitian that I would eat, and I'm gonna keep trying to do that, and hopefully, fingers crossed, when I see the doctor again next week, because she's making me come back because I was orthostatic, I won't be orthostatic, and it'll all be good, and I'll be on my way to college, and relatively healthy and happy. So that's all I'm gonna say for now. So that's kind of an update of how I've been lately, and I'll make another video soon. Bye!